We're getting there, right? Testing, testing. But up to it. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting better? Excellent. Start. Well, good morning, everyone. All 100 of you here present and online. Welcome. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence here this morning and our participation in our service, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above any negative energy we may have experienced this past week, and manifest love for the next week. We'll proceed with our service. Our Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson, excellent to outstanding speaker and teacher and instructor, will proceed with our service at this time.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Mike, for getting us started today. For those of you who are joining us today, if you've been with us before, you know how we begin. We begin with our invocation. So if you would like with me right now to turn within, to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And we just allow ourselves to be present, to be in this now moment, to let go of all the cares, concerns, and everything that has brought us to this moment. It is a pure moment, a clean moment, a clear moment, a never before lived moment. And so it is only in this now moment that we can open our hearts. It is only in this moment that we can open our mind. It is only in this moment that we can be fully, completely, and absolutely present to the indwelling presence of Spirit within us. And so we become available by closing out the outer and turning within and knowing that right here, right now, right where we are, God is. That the Spirit of life itself is flowing in, through, and as that which I am. It is the truth of who I am. It is the beingness that is expressed in, through, and as all that I am. And so as I relax into this moment, as I know this truth, I let it unfold in me, through me, and as me. And I bless myself, and I bless our world as a result. And so it is. So it is. Oh, we're supposed to do something. Excuse me. No, it's me. Would you all join me by standing for our vision and mission statement, please? CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. In our Declaration of Principles, I believe the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. So we have a new song today because this is February. All right. And so the songs we sing today, the community songs, will be the songs we'll sing all month.
All right. Good idea.
I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. It's pure magic. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who you are. It's pure magic.
All right, sing everybody.
We are life. We are light. We are love. We are joy. We are peace. We are wisdom. And beautiful harmony. We are pure magic. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. It's pure magic. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. It's pure magic.
I changed it a little.
I love that. Now leave it up to our creative artist to change the song, okay?
Magic.
And
magic.
the reason she changed it is because we're reading this book, Magic, the Magic. So thank you. It's perfect. Yes.
Thank you.
And so we want to read those words. Okay. All right. So this morning, our reading is done by Sandy, and she is online.
Good morning, everyone. Wonderful way to start the day. Thank you, ladies. That was beautiful. And our reading today is from February's Spiritual Mind, our Guide for Spiritual Living from Science of Mind magazine. And it's called Love Enhances. There's no bad consequence to loving fully with all your heart. You always gain by giving more. And that's from actress Reese Witherspoon. Love's essence lies in its own givingness, and naught is whole without this blessedness. That's from Ernest Holmes from his book, The Voice Celestial. Love is the great surrender where instead of leaving you empty, it fills your soul. Mother Teresa said, "Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier." The universal flame of love consumes fear, melts away the prison bars of apprehension, and sets the soul soaring. No reason is required to become living. It's just what your heart yearns for. That which it cannot describe, the ineffable touch of love. Love becomes you when you become love. Love graces everything it touches. One of the crazy things about love is it will interpret itself to you only when you love. In the generous giving of love, you go deep into being a receiver of love. Spirit's life force will flow into you, through you, and out into your relationships. Recognizing the divine and those around you lifts the level of your consciousness, making you a love distributor. Every action you take, motivated by the pulse of a fully loving heart, brings the rich blessings of love in amazing ways. Love realizes itself in others and delights in the revelation of the dance of oneness. And our affirmation today, I love fully with all my heart and all my soul.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Yes. Well, I wanted to do a song about magic, and I couldn't think of anything. And then Marcia came up with one for me. Song by Olivia Newton-John.
Have to believe we are magic. Nothing can stand in our way. Have to believe we are magic. Don't let your aim ever stray. Let all of your dreams survive. Destiny will arrive. Bring all your dreams alive for you. Come take my hand. You should know me. I've always been in your mind. You know I'll be kind. I'll be guiding you. Building your dream has to start now. There's no other road to take. I won't make a mistake. I'll be guiding you. Have to believe we are magic. Nothing can stand in our way. Have to believe we are magic. Don't let your aim ever stray. Let all of your dreams survive. Destiny will arrive. I'll bring all your dreams alive for you. I'll bring all your dreams alive for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. What? That's perfect. Yes. We are magic, but only if we realize that we are magic. And the magic is the love within us, as Sandy was reading about us. So this month, we are talking about living everyday wonder and the inner life. The inner life. And today, specifically, I want to ask you the question, can you see the God in me? Can you see, can I see the God in me? Very often we can see the God in somebody else. We see the good in them, that we see the love in them, we see the joy in them. But the question is, when you look in the mirror, can I see the God in me? Can I see the love in me? Can I see the spirit in me? Can I see the life in me? Can I see the joy in me? Because that is the origin of that. And so we have to do that. We have to figure out, find a way to see that in ourselves, to see the magic in ourselves. We all know that Jesus spent 40 days in the desert, right? Before he started his ministry. He went into the wilderness, and he went there so that he could withdraw from the outer world and deal with I think he was dealing with the resistance he had. Many of us, when we're called to ministry, we don't go willy-nilly. We argue with God. Okay? And it's not just ministers. It's those, I've seen musicians also argue with God. It's like, well, I'm making music, but I can't do it in front of other people. Whenever we are getting a divine call, whenever the Spirit within us is saying, go forth and do that thing, there's this reluctance within us because we are not just spiritual beings, but we live in the relative world. And in the relative world, people say, you can't have that car, right? In the relative world, people say, why would you want to be a minister? Why would you want to be a musician? Why would you want to do this or that? Anything that gets them away from the comfort that they have living with you. That's not always the case. Sometimes people, we say we want to do something and people go, oh, great. When I told my parents I was studying, I wanted to go to college and be a teacher, they were like, yes, that's a great idea. Because why? In their context, black people who were teachers were high up there in the totem pole in terms of, good things to be. I think if I had told them something else, in my day and age, if I had said, I want to be a fireman, they would have nope, women aren't firemen. But today, women are firemen. I have a cousin who is a fire person. But you see, the thing is that he was called to do something, and he had to go within in order to determine whether or not he should do it. He's not the only one. Buddha also spent time in the wilderness of his consciousness. Okay, this is the season of nonviolence started in January 30th. The season of nonviolence is between the assassination of, January 30th was the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi in India, and April 4th is the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. So those 64 days, the Association for Global New Thought has created a program they call Season for Nonviolence, and it has gone all around the world now, okay? We're not doing it this year. We've done it in the past. We're not doing it this year because we are studying about magic instead. And that will support us in our work with Season for Nonviolence as well. Okay, but Dr. King and Gandhi both spent time away from the people in meditation, in prayer. They both believed that God was leading them. And so they took time away to be in the spirit of life itself and to be away from the relative world and the people who told them, you can't do that. They put them in jail. Both Gandhi and King were put in jail for what they did. I have no doubt whatsoever that they did a lot of meditating in jail. And, some of it was prison. And Dr. King wrote a letter from Birmingham jail when he was in there, right? Out of contemplation. Okay, so they're not the only one. Teresa of Avila and Mother Teresa used to go away. She did her work, but she used to go away from time to time, right? Any spiritual person who is seeking to be as spiritually connected as they try to be or want to be goes away in time to contemplate, to meditate, to pray, to be with the Spirit, so to speak. They do that every day. Okay? In the Bible, it says, God created the world in 7 days and rested, right? And did you ever think why God needed to rest? The Bible says that God created the world. God worked so hard creating the world that God had to rest. Can you imagine that? I wonder if he's still resting. It's all of a sudden, it's like, I thought, I have read that and I have talked about that any number of times. But today it was like, why did God need to rest? Because the message is not God needing to rest. It's you needing to go into the quiet to withdraw from the outer world and go that Sabbath day, the seventh day, into that place of consciousness where you get to commune with the Spirit within you and connect so that you can say, I can see God in me, because you have found it within yourself. And by the way, we're not looking for that God up there in the sky, where God in you shows up as love. God shows up as compassion. God shows up as joy and wisdom and intelligence. And you'll notice when you take time away from the outer world of effects, when you take time to really, really connect with that inner place within yourself, then what happens is you come up with ideas that you hadn't thought of before. They're like brand new creative ideas. And so we take time away to be with that which is the creative life within us and spend time there. And in so doing, what happens is our life becomes more of what we desire it to be. So I want to tell you today about a woman who suffered yearly bouts of depression for many, many years. I think that, now she was born, I think 1910, somewhere around there. She was, growing up during the Depression. Excuse me. And she was a mixed race person. There were many white people in her black family. And some of them were fair enough that they could do what they called at the time passing. But she could not, okay? And so she had all these feelings within her that were uncomfortable and that she was not finding in the world a reflection for. Later in life, she discovered that she was, well, I'll tell you that later. For right now, I'll just say that she had bouts of depression, and she'd go into the hospital, and she'd be there for a while, and then she'd come out, and then she'd do her life for a while, and then she'd go back for depression. Years ago, I read this book, can't remember fully the name, it was this, I think it's spiritual psychology or something like that. Anyway, the author is a spiritual psychologist, and he said he thinks that many of your people, or our people, in mental hospitals are really having spiritual crises, but we don't understand how to connect that with what's going on in the world, and they don't know how to communicate it to us. And so I think what was happening is these were her timeouts. These were timeouts. These were just, like, if I'm really depressed, they'll put me in the hospital and I'll have some time out. Because she did not grow up in an environment that said, you need to meditate every day. In fact, when I started meditating, there were churches that were teaching, do not meditate, because that's the devil's work. The devil will get you if you meditate. I mean, literally, people told me that, okay? So back in the 20s and 30s, if you were meditating, guess what? Something was wrong with you. And so to me, I think she just went in the hospital for periods of rest and relaxation, get away from the world, okay? But she was also, she's in the South, she was in North Carolina, I believe, and she was subject to all of the racism. And then she went to New York, and she went to school up there, and there was a certain amount of racism there. She decided to go to law school at Howard University. Now, you would think, Howard University, black college, right? So she fit in racially, but guess what? She's in a class with all men. She's the only woman in the class, with Thurgood Marshall and a lot of the others who became prominent civil rights attorneys later on. So she's in this class. The first year she was in there, they wouldn't answer her questions. She'd raise her hand. They'd ignore her. They acted like she wasn't even there. And the professor was like, I don't even know why women want to go to law school. Now, this is 1940, okay? 1941 or something like that. I was like, excuse me? So anyway, this woman persevered, right? And so she continued to be in the class in the second year. So the first year, she got the highest grades of all of the men, over all the men, okay, even without having her questions answered. The second year, they decided, she could talk. Anyway, towards the end of her years there, she wrote a paper. And in that paper, I want to get this right, because it's very important. She wrote a paper and she says, discrimination reduces black people the sense of their own dignity. Discrimination reduces black people's sense of their own dignity and character. And so the men did not like that idea. They said, you know what, no. That's not going to pass, because they were working on getting rid of the Plessy-Verse. We got to do a little history lesson here. In 1896, the Supreme Court created a ruling that said that states could have separate but equal accommodations for people. Well, in the South, it was black people, but it could be people all over. As long as the public accommodations were equal, then they could separate them. And the black attorneys at Howard were saying the accommodations are not equal. And so that was what they were arguing. But Polly is saying, this is Polly Murray, by the way. You probably never heard of her. But anyway, she was saying instead, no, this reduces the dignity. And what she did, she went back to the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment says, states cannot create any law which denies any person the equal protection of the law. 10 years later, the men used that argument, Polly's argument, to go to the Supreme Court and get Brown versus the Board of Education overturned. And that's when all the separate but equal laws started falling. Guess what? Ruth Bader Ginsburg used those same thoughts from Polly. The men did not give her credit, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg used her words, and she did give her credit for the ideas, the legal ideas that she used. Guess what? Just a few years ago, the ACLU used that same argument for getting rid of the barriers for LGBTQ people and transgender people. All of that came from what Polly Murray suggested at Howard University in 1941 when people did not want to listen to her. She was before her time. And we don't know about her. And there's a movie about her on not Netflix, on Prime if you want to watch it right now. But here's the thing. She was at Yale. They refused to let her in there. But now Yale has a whole building that says Polly Murray on top of it. She has a whole school of law that's dedicated to her. She passed away when she was 74 in 1985. But she said that she was dealing not only with Jim Crow, which the men were dealing with, but she was dealing with Jane Crow, because she had both sex and racial discrimination that she was dealing with. And then in later years, she discovered that she was gay. She went all through her life, and that was part of the depression, because she knew something was different about her sexuality, but she was dealing with people who weren't dealing with those problems or those issues at the time. And so consequently, she thought something was wrong with her and she couldn't figure it out. We know now that, she was gay, and I think she knew it too before the end of her life. But here's a person who did all these things. She had to go within at some point, right? Well, she figured it out too, because later in her life, a successful university professor at Brandeis. She got tenure there. But then she realized at some point that the issues that she was trying to deal with legally were really moral and spiritual issues. Hello? Moral and spiritual issues. And the law could not answer those issues. So guess what she did? She enrolled in, she was Episcopalian, so she enrolled in the Episcopalian school. She went to ministerial school there, became a priest, and is the first black woman to be ordained as an Episcopalian priest. That woman was listening to something. Okay. She was listening to something even before she knew that she was listening to something. Okay? We are all listening, but rarely do we take time away to really focus on that. Our classes are about helping people, to guide them, to support them in taking that time away. You absolutely have to take time away, to be quiet, to be still, to withdraw from the world and allow yourself to be quiet and simply listen. Thich Nhat Hanh made mindfulness a popular thing to do. Everybody's talking mindfulness now. Even your business people are talking, oh yeah, you have to have mindfulness. We're going to have mindfulness training for all employees. It's like, what is that? That is taking time away. They're using the word mindfulness to substitute for meditation, because meditation sounds what? Too religious. Okay, it sounds like something you do in church. But mindfulness is something you do while you're walking around, while you're swimming. It's something you're doing, and you can just take time in your office, close the door, put on some quiet music, and say to everybody, don't bother me because I'm being mindful. Okay? I mean, stop and think. If you had done that 20 years ago, they say you're wasting time. Not anymore. Okay? They even have little signs you can put on your door that says, don't bother me, I'm mindful. Okay? I've seen them, okay? So, here's the thing. Ernest Holmes, Charles Fillmore, Phineas Quimby, and others that founded the New Thought movement, they were simply doing what Pauli Murray did. Pauli Murray said she went back to the Constitution. She went back to a time before she was born, looked at that, and reinterpreted it for our modern time. Ernest Holmes and Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and the Quimbys and Emma Curtis Hopkins and all the other New Thought people, Judge Troward, they just simply went back, got some ancient teachings, pulled them into our modern world and said, look, we can use these too. Hey, same thing. We've got teachings now that are as old as time itself. Some of these things come from Aristotle, some from Plato, some from Africans in Egypt. So, the thing is that everything old is new again. I think I heard that somewhere, right? So they've done the similar thing that Pauli Murray did and just look back at history. And they've looked at the Bible. They've looked at Hindu scriptures. They've looked at the Vedas, or Hindu scriptures. They've looked at Buddhist teachings. They've looked at Confucius teachings. And they've looked at that Christian teachings, because there's a lot of good in Meister Eckhart's teachings, okay, and others. So they've looked at all of these, and they've synthesized them, and they've put them in books and said, look, all you have to do is read this stuff, take classes, and learn about it. We've done all the hard work. But guess what? After you read, you have to take time to be mindful. Okay? You have to take time. And that's how we get to begin to see God as who we are. That's how we begin to find the love within ourselves. If you cannot find the love within yourself, you will not find it in anyone else. You absolutely will not. I can't remember, Robin, I think her name was Robin something. She wrote a book about women and women who love too much, I think was the name of the book. And do any of you guys remember that? Dorothea, do you remember that? Anyway, she wrote this book. I'm pretty sure it was Women Who Love Too Much. And what it was women who looked out at the world and saw men who were not good for them and brought them into their life because what? They did not love themselves. And all too often, they had been abused as children. And so they were bringing abusers back into their life. But once she tells in the book the story of her journey to knowing how to love herself. And once she loved herself, she did not attract those kind of people anymore. You see? Excuse me. You have to spend time with yourself to love yourself. And here's the thing. When we find the object of our love, whoever that person may be, we're more willing to spend time with them than we are willing to spend with ourselves. Think about that. The last time you fell in love with someone, notice that your meditation time fell out. I've watched people, they'll ask for prayer, to have somebody come in their life. That person comes into their life. They're all over them. They're doing all these things with them. And guess what falls off? They stop coming to church. They stop doing classes. They stop meditating. And then they wonder why the relationship fell apart. Because what you did to get it, you are no longer doing. So therefore, you don't get to keep it. You fell in love with yourself, and you attracted someone into your life who loved you, who matched that love. And then you stopped loving yourself because what? You started loving that person more than you loved yourself. And you wanted that person to love you more than what you are now loving yourself. It doesn't work that way, people. It starts and ends with who you are. And once you have what you want in your life, you have to do the work to keep it. You just, it's not like you got this car or this relationship or this house or whatever. Whatever you get, you're going to have to do the work to keep it. Even if you're dealing with stuff in the world. If you buy a house, right? Most of us buy a house with mortgage. You're going to have to keep paying that mortgage. Unless you figured out a way to buy it cash, right? Most people don't. But some people do. But even still, even if you bought it cash, you have stuff to do to keep it up. You have to take care of it. You have to put a new roof on it every now and then. You have to paint the walls. You have to decorate. You have to do all this stuff, right? You have to continually be doing things in order to continue to have the things in your life that you want and have them in good working order. My car broke down the other day. I take it to the shop, okay? If I don't take it to the shop, guess what? It's not going to work for me. I have to keep doing what I'm doing to take care of it. But we don't do that with our spiritual development. Why not? Jesus did. He didn't stop with the meditation in the desert. He used to go out every night and every once in a while. The Bible says Jesus went off by himself. He didn't take anybody with him. He went alone into the quiet of his own mind. And I'm willing to bet you, those are just the times they tell you in the Bible, I'm willing to bet you he did it every day. Because Jesus knew who he was. And when we know who we are, we will do the same thing. Because we will know what? That we are not just this physical thing walking around in a body, but that we are love expressing in the world. That we are creative beings. That we have the capacity to be joyful and loving and careful and compassionate and caring. We have all of that, but we have to first find it where? Within. And then we have to keep doing the work to keep it in our lives. So today I just want to acknowledge Polly Murray, because she did that work without any glory. She wasn't looking for glory. It was her mission. This is what she says it at some point. She wrote a book about herself, her autobiography. And this is my mission in life. What is the mission? Mission. Okay, mission. This is my mission. What is she saying? She said, that's my calling. I came here to earth to do this. And here's the thing. We all want easy lives. Her life was not easy. But it is out of the difficulty sometimes that comes the beauty of our life, the wonder, the experience of self-knowingness. Sometimes we have to walk through the fire in order to be able to experience the magnificence that we have to give into the world, to discover it and to be it. She went through, stop and think about the 2 years she spent in law school. There was stuff before that. But just think about, can you imagine being in a class with all men? You're the only woman and they won't even talk to you? There were a lot of women who did that, by the way. I knew women who went, I know a woman who lived near me who went to engineering school. She was the only woman in engineering class, and they treated her the same way. Most of us don't have to do that anymore because people like Pauli Murray went before us, and they paved the way. There was a time, we're sitting here, there's white people in this room, there's black people in this room, there's black people on the phone, there's white people, there's people of color all over the world sitting next to each other right now. And had those people not done the work they did, we would not be able to do this. We would not be doing it. It would not show up in the world in the way it is. So we are here at this time. All kinds of stuff is going on. And we have a mission. Each one of us. I can't tell you what it is. You have to look into the mirror and to your own heart. And you have to go into the quiet and the peace and see God as you and determine what it is that is your mission. How it is that you are to give in this world. And that's where the magic is. Knowing. That's the magic. Let us take these words and turn within. And find that place within ourselves that truly is magical. It's magical not because of the term magic that we use, that entertainers use, but the magic which is the wonder, the magnificence, the infinity that is who we are, that every once in a while we get glimpses of. We get glimpses of because we have taken the time, we have withdrawn from the outer world, and we have sought to see the God, the Spirit, the life, the divinity, the truth of who we are. And so right in this moment, just know that this is the truth of you. That it may be coming as a thought, but commit now to finding that place within yourself. Where you know unequivocally that all is life, that all is spirit, that all is divine, and that I am one with it. I am one with the totality of life itself. That spirit itself expresses itself in, through, and as that which I am. That every day that I draw breath, it is the Spirit breathing through me, expressing itself as the life that I am. And that it has, for me, a specific mission if I will only but listen and accept, believe, and continue to work towards its manifestation. I am knowing in this moment that each one of us has the capacity to do this, or we would not be listening to this message. Each one of us has the willingness, if we will only commit to doing so. And so I am speaking my word now that we have the courage, that we have the wisdom, we have the creativity, and we have the desire to be that which God is expressing in us and through us and as us in this moment and every day. And so we rejoice that it is our opportunity to live this life fully and completely, and we do so with love, with joy, and with a sense of, I am that I am. So we are empowered in every way possible to be all that we can possibly be. And so with gratitude, I release this word now, knowing that its grace is moving in, through, and as each and every one of us, blessing us in this moment, now and forevermore. And so it is. Amen.
So it is. I want to welcome everybody online this morning. Can we see them? Can we say hello to them, Marcia? Not right this second. Oh, no, not right this second. Well, hi. Hello, we're glad you're here with us. Connie and I have a song for you. It's by Elevation Church. All my life I've been carried by grace. Don't ask me how, 'cause I can't explain. It's nothing short of a miracle around here. I've got some blessings that I don't deserve. I've got some scars, but that's how you learn. It's nothing short of a miracle around here. I think it over and it doesn't add up. I know it comes from above. I've got miracles on miracles, a million little miracles, miracles on miracles. Count your miracles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all. You hold me steady so I wouldn't give up. You opened doors that nobody could shut. I hope I never get over what you've done. I wanna live with an open heart. I wanna live like I know who you are. I hope I never get over what you've done. It's not coincidence and it's not luck. I know it comes from above. I got miracles on miracles, a million little miracles, miracles on miracles. Got your miracles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all. Miracles on miracles, miracles, a million little miracles, miracles on miracles. Count your miracles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all. I can't even count them all.
I can't even count them.
I can't even count them all.
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 I can't even count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't even count them all. Oh, hey people. Hey people. Well, I can't, I want to see them. Hi.
Okay, all right. That message was meant for you too. Okay, all right, yes, okay. All right, yes, okay, it's time for our conscious giving affirmation in your program. Freely I give with a feeling of abundance, knowing that my gift blesses others and myself as well.
Yes.
Yes.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed.
And our affirmation, Thanksgiving. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. Okay, so this is the magic. And we are reading it. If you started with us on the 1st, then today is day 6. Now, somebody told me that they had ordered the book and it wasn't coming until tomorrow or something like that. So if that's the case, this is what I suggest you do. If you did not start with us on the 1st, is go to the day that you start. Like today, if you have your book today and this is your first day to do it, start on day 6. Read day 6 and do what it says in day 6, okay? And then, after you do what it says in day 6, go back to day 1. So you will do 2 days, two lessons for a while. So day 6, you would do 6 and 1. Day 7, you do 7 and 2. On day 8, you will do 8 and 3, and so on. Okay, until you catch up. And then when you get to 5, then you're done because you started at 6 already. Okay. The reason I'm asking you to do that is because it builds from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's building on stuff. And I will tell you, she had us doing some stuff this week I had never even thought about in terms of, how many of us have, yesterday was about money. How many of you thought about going back from your childhood and thinking about you were given, nobody said, you got to pay for this stuff. You were given a roof over your head. You were given food. You were given education. You were given so much stuff growing up, and you never had to pay a dime. And it's like, oh my God, I've been grateful for childhood and things that happened in it, but I never thought about, doing it that way. So she's giving you some things to really think about, and I can see why at the end your sense of gratitude opens up really wide. So don't skip the first beginnings. Start and then do 2 at a time until you get finished. It really doesn't take that long. I think you could probably finish it up half an hour. I think I'm spending a little bit more than half an hour because I'm shocked over some of the stuff. I'm just like, wow. And then you start making this list, and it's like you can't stop because there's so many. Anyway, if you would like to, if you haven't gotten it, I suggest you get busy and do it, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of catching up to do. And let's see. My friend Patty Rumsa and I, we're both ministers. She started out. We both started out as youth leaders in United Church of Religious Science, and she's a little younger than I am. We won't talk about that. But anyway, she and I both started out as youth leaders, and then when she became a minister, she asked me to mentor her. And she, had a couple of churches, and then she went to Colorado, and she was there for 8 years at Grand Junction, growing that church. And then she decided to leave, and last summer, she called me and said, let's do this ministry that you had started. I started a ministry when I didn't have a church in 2010, and it just kind of went by the wayside. And so now We started it back again, and one of the things that we want to do is be of service to ministers and practitioners and people in CSL, and some coaching and other things outside of people, with people outside of CSL. But we also want to do spiritual travel. We have traveled together, and we have done some really magnificent things and glorious. Last spring, I went with her to the beach, and we like going to the beach because we just go and lay around. That's what ministers do on a vacation, they don't do anything. Anyway, we are sponsoring a trip to the Civil Rights Museum. We call it the Civil Rights Experience in Alabama. And it's a visit to the Legacy Museum and National Memorial for Peace and Justice. And we're going on the Footprints tour in Selma. And that's going to be the end of April. So please do go on our website and take a look at it and see if it's something that you would be interested in doing, or give me a call and ask me about it. We're doing it because CSL has a vision of a world that works for everyone. And sometimes, as Brian Stevenson says, we have to do the healing before we can begin the growing. And so this is about healing. And for us not to be scared of doing this kind of work. It's really disappointing to me that so many parents are not wanting their children to learn about, the history of their country. Because what they're saying, they don't realize it, but what they're saying is our kids are not smart enough, bright enough, intelligent enough, creative enough to understand all of this and put it in a context that serves them and helps them in the rest of their life. They're diminishing and disempowering their children. And so we don't want that to be so in our organization. And so we're sponsoring this trip. We also like to enjoy ourselves, and so we're sponsoring a cruise too. And that cruise is all about having fun, I'll tell you. And so we have very few activities planned for the whole group, but we do have some, and they are all designed to have us have a good time. There'll be meditations that, you can choose to participate in or not. And we have some people registered who, they don't want to do any of that, but they want to go on the cruise with us. So wait till they get there. They may change their mind. All right, so please do participate in those. And if you would like to stay online for a few minutes afterwards, let Marcia know by raising your hand that you want to. Well, actually, you don't have to. You should just leave the thing open, and we're going to talk for a few minutes about this book after church with the people who are here. And if you would like to stay online and do that, you can too. Okay, I think those are all of our announcements. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We have a new song.
A new
It's
congregational.
Gratitude, and we're going to teach it to you. But you have to stand. And if you're at home, please do stand with us, okay? Because this is a body song, an action song, whatever you want to call it, song kind of thing.
All righty, you ready?
I'm ready. Okay, is everybody ready? Oh, Dorothy is in her purse. We got to wait on her. Get out of that purse, girl. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. And I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I feel so grateful, I'm so grateful. All right, that was really good. All right, you think you got it? You think you got it, Kathy? Okay, I'm watching you. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. And I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful,
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. All right, you want to do it one more time? All right. Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Feel so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Very good. A plus.
So I hope you did get up. If you didn't, next week,
Get up. Get up.
in the meantime, that's something,
Microphone.
microphone, sorry.
Uh-oh. We
Okay,
need
so
another microphone.
those of you at home, if you did not get up, next week, get up.
Get you
Move
up.
around. In the
Get up.
meantime, all week long, what can you do? Gratitude above me, gratitude behind me. You can walk around and sing that anytime, okay? And think it. And it fits with our book. How about that?
The magic
All
of
right.
gratitude.
The magic of gratitude. All right, so let us do our closing affirmation. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us, and only good comes to us. And so it is. All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, all done. See you all next week. So give us a couple of minutes and let's talk about the book. You could leave this on.
I'm so grateful. I am.